The Flicks Tape.
They have no future as they have no past. Tomorrow as today, slavery will be their only possible privilege.
We gods, man. We kings, man. We lords.
I was born black, I live black, and I'm gonna die probably because some cracker that knows I'm black better than you, nigga, is probably gonna put a bullet in the back of my head.
This is the remix. My father was raised in the era when black niggas couldn't claim Native American.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. But you never find a white aborigine. Rather, aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine. You want to be called an American. Aborigine actually means from the beginning. Two Latin words, ab meaning from, origine meaning the beginning.
Great shock around the age of 5 or 6 or 7 to discover the flag to which you have pledged allegiance along with everybody else has not pledged allegiance to you. It comes as a great shock to discover that Gary Cooper killing off the Indians when you were rooting for Gary Cooper, that the Indians were you. That the Indians were you. It comes as a great shock to discover that the country, which is your birthplace, and to which you owe your life and your identity.
Remember that big Indian dude in that movie? Mm-hmm. He was cool. And then he couldn't talk unless he was talking about gum?
Yeah. You know, I think you're not supposed to say Indian either.
No way, really?
Yeah. I think you're supposed to call them African Americans.
Oh, you're shoemakers now. And more importantly, you're a person of color. You're no longer a Nipmuc person. And that shows through in these county histories and also in the census records at the time. You find a person described in the 1860 census as an Indian. In the 1870 census, they're described as a person of color or a colored person. Same person, but the census taker, as part of the white dominant society, decides that this person is no longer Nipmuc.
Since y'all always screaming about DNA, watch what the biology professor says about DNA. Watch this.
Smith's breakdown from Ancestry showed 97% European and 2% Asian.
I'm a black girl. I am not a Jewish white lady. I'm black. My parents were black.
She contacted Ancestry with questions, but says a rep told her the results are accurate.
These DNA tests for ethnicity are entertainment value only.
William Gilliland is a biology professor at DePaul. He says DNA kits can be great for connecting family members and finding relatives, but the science for ethnicity testing isn't as concrete.
There's nothing that confident for ethnicity. There's no diagnostic nucleotide. You can say this person is from Europe, this person's from Africa.
You see that? DNA can't tell you where you're from. A scholar tells the truth. Watch this.
But many African Americans, you are the Native Americans. You're not even African Americans, you're Native Americans. You're the ones that they brought blankets with, was it smallpox or whatever diseases, and wiped out entire communities because they said they came in peace, but they actually came in war. And they are still warring us right until this day. So there are those beloveds of you who really don't feel any connection to Mama Africa. And this is just, you know, a confirmation, a reassurance that America belongs to you.
So Africans know this history, but nobody else does? Come on, make it make sense.
At me. And so with the help of my wife, we extracted enough saliva to send off in the mail. We were so excited to see the results. After about 3 months, we were shocked. My lizard was 51% Ashkenazi Jewish. He was also 48% West Asian. This was really interesting. They also gave us a little bit of his background and his history, what he liked to eat, etc. Let us know which animal's DNA we should send in next.
You don't have to try to be something you're not.
Trying to be something I'm not? Trying to be proud of my African heritage? That's being something I'm not, then fine.
My grandmother was a full-blooded Iroquois.
I know all of that, Mama.
They don't know this. I am alive because of the blood of a people who never scraped or begged or apologized for what they were. They asked only one thing of this world, to be allowed to be. It broke my heart when you changed your name. I gave you my grandmother's name, a woman who bore 9 children and educated them all. Who held off 6 white men with a shotgun when they tried to drag one of her sons off to jail for not knowing his place. And you had to reach into an African dictionary to find a name that would make you proud.
My father was raised in the era when black niggas couldn't claim Native American. Making music would've thought I had help, but the Indians I know wanna be the chief they self.
All right, so that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you stayed to the end of the video, I'm gonna end the video right here. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Did you guys like it?
Yeah, guys, I just put this brother's channel in the chat again. Make sure to go check him out, subscribe. We do have a live caller. Before we bring up the live caller, I want to go back to the early pages. Oops. Yeah, I want to go back to the early pages to show what these surnames were about again. And again, we're going to get onto some of his other videos where he goes through even more surnames. So we've got more content. Don't touch that dial. But again, when it comes to those names that we just went through, here we go. It says here, this is the appendix section of that book, Find Your Ancestral Nation. As though all Amerindians are Negro, which equals black, I have included the list of freedmen Indians. This partial list of English surnames of Amerindian Negro people from the southeastern nations of Anasazi people. The northern nations of tribes are not listed here. In future books, more names will be added as they are uncovered. So again, guys, we're not necessarily, pulling a 180 and totally reversing the misclassification and mislabeling that our people has been subjugated to for decades now. But this is definitely a step in the right direction. And I appreciate you all for showing up and being here for it. We do have a guest coming from the back to the front. We've got Dre W. Dre, let us know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind. You're on mute, Dre.
Yeah, I'm calling in from North Carolina.
All right, and Dre, let us know what's on your mind.
Well, I know the last time we discussed the whole notion about population growth within the native population, or in terms of this indigenous thing. And what I discovered is that, let's see, what did I discover? Yeah, as far as some African Americans have native.
Hey, Dre, before you tell us about new research you've done since our last interaction, do you maybe want to make a comment that's relative to the video we just watched, and then you can have the floor to make any other comments?
So as far as those surnames, I'm just kind of confused because I'm thinking that those are more Anglo names. Why would they be names?
If you're confused, then you should watch the video that I linked in my chat to gain an understanding. Are you asking me to educate you?
I'm just saying that, like,
it's a yes or a no. Are you asking Mike to educate you?
So you don't believe that?
Oh Lord, we're gonna try again. Jesus, I just give everybody so much rope, and then they hang us each and every time. Sir, do you want to ask me questions so I can educate you? Yes or no?
Yes, man. Yes, man.
Okay, cool. God damn it. It's like pulling teeth with these people. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I really am not feeling charitable. I'm not feeling charitable in the slightest. I don't feel like educating this man. I think we've spoke to him before. It was like nails on a chalkboard, but I run my program like the Roman Colosseum. So if you guys want me to entertain this conversation and have this discourse, then go ahead and throw 5 on it. If somebody in the next minute or two throws 5 on the Cash App or the PayPal, then I will have this conversation, not because I want to, not because I think I'll get anything out of it, but because my audience will be entertained by it. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what to do. Come on, vote with your dollars. Or hey, 5 people can put $1 on it, however you want to. But Lord, oh Lord, I just can't talk to this man for free 99. I gotta at least get me a mocha cappuccino out of it, y'all. Can I at least get a mocha out of it? And while we wait to see if the audience actually wants to hear this interaction, let's cut to a quick commercial break.
The Flicks Tape.
They have no future as they have no past. Tomorrow as today, slavery will be their only possible privilege.
We gods, man. We kings, man. We lords.
I was born black, I live black, and I'm gonna die probably because some cracker that knows I'm black better than you, nigga, is probably gonna put a bullet in the back of my head.
This is the remix. My father was raised in the era when black niggas couldn't claim Native American.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. But you never find a white aborigine. Rather, aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine. You want to be called an American. Aborigine actually means from the beginning. 2 Latin words. Ab meaning from, origine meaning the beginning.
All right. We are back from commercial break. Shout out to those who threw in. We've got Darice. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name, darling. We've got Darice coming. Damn, I think I definitely said it wrong that time. Darice. We got beautiful Miss Davis coming through with 5 on it. I appreciate you. We got Mary coming through. She says, thank you for everything you do. Well, Mary, I thank you for putting something in the brown paper bag.
Brown paper bag. Brown paper bag. Brown paper bag. Brown paper bag.
And we got Glenda coming through with a contribution on the Cash App. I appreciate you, Glenda. All right, now, guys, you don't have to use any dollars to cast this vote, but we've got 2 different ways I can format this discussion. Option A and option B. Option A is he asks me 1 question at a time, and I answer each question. And after I answer each question, he's going to let me know whether he accepts the answer or not, and then we move on to the next question. It's basically a 1-by-1 question and answer, right? That's option A. Option B is I put on a timer, and he gets 2 minutes to speak uninterrupted, and then I get to respond. Then he gets another 2 minutes to speak uninterrupted, and then I respond. So guys, go ahead and cast your votes. Put in the chat. Don't vote twice. Come on. Come on, don't vote twice, but put either A or B. Option A is a question and answer Q&A format. Option B is he gets segments, 2 minutes at a time to speak uninterrupted, and then I respond. Let me know what you guys want to see. New Era said, I see my family reunion names on there. Yep, there you go. Tash Beauty says, not gonna lie, I've been humming that brown paper bag for a couple days now. Oh yeah, that's a tune. I ain't even gonna lie. There's another live streamer who uses that tune whenever they get a Cash App. I forget his name. It's like Super Ray or something like that. And I sent the brother a Cash App one time, and he didn't play the sound. And I just loved hearing that tune. I damn near sent him the Cash App just so I can hear that tune. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna use that tune so I can hear that merry jingle whenever somebody provides an extra generous contribution. But we've got A's, we've got a B, we've got more A's, a lot of A's. Okay, it looks like A. He seems like he wants to learn something. Oh, I don't know. I've spoken with him before. I think he just wants to come up here and be contrarian. But you guys want option A question and format type. So we're gonna go ahead and do it that way. Dre, what's your first question?
Okay, so you said that 4% of the African slaves were brought over here, right? Okay, so my question to you is, can you explain the 1790 census where it says that they counted 697,624 slaves, and in 1860, the 8th census counted 3,953,760 of them. So are you saying that we still have more indigenous blood, or are you saying that we have more of maybe the African? Just kind of clear that up for me.
Sir, I need you to clear that question up for me. That was a mouthful. We got to keep things very, 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 very simple, sir. Simple. So let's try again, Dre. A question should be a sentence. It shouldn't be a paragraph. So what's your question again?
So you said that 4% of African slaves come over here, right? But are you aware of the fact that more of them were imported here over time, and that some American-born ones were also rapidly growing within that population?
Is there any way for you to make the question just a little more simpler? It sounded like you said something like, well, Mike, you say 4% of the slaves came here from Africa, but there was some that were also sent somewhere else, or I'm just still not really understanding your question.
Well, according to what I researched, it was saying that a continued importation of new slaves from Africa and the Caribbean came here, and then the natural population growth, especially American-born slaves who live longer and bore more children, also grew the population.
Okay. Can you tell us what that source is?
The source is from the National Library of Medicine.
All right. So if I was to look up that source right now to share my screen and show the audience, what would I type in?
Well, I mean, what I typed in is, let me see. Well, I didn't type in this per se, but I would say you would type in ncbi.nlm.nih.gov.
And what would I be looking for on that website?
You would be looking for the slave population, the growth of the slave population in the United States.
Okay. Let me see. And actually, let me go ahead and start by sharing my screen. So basically, you're saying, hey, Mike, last time we talked, you said only 4% of the slaves came here from Africa, and that the population of 50 million Black Americans modern day, the population growth didn't really make sense if such a small number of African slaves came here. So to kind of challenge that, you're saying you found a source that seeks to explain why there was a apparent population boom. So let's see if we can find exactly what you're referencing. Do you think this is it, from 20 and
Yeah,
odd to
that's it.
10?
Yeah, that's
Okay, let's take a look. And this is from the National Library of Medicine.
Yes.
I really want to do some more digging on that. I mean, it's kind of weird to me that the Library of Medicine is talking about slavery statistics, but let's go ahead and read a bit of this article. It says, from 20 and odd to 10 million, the growth of the slave population in the United States. This research note describes the growth of the slave population in the United States and develops several new measures of its size and growth, including an estimate of the total number of slaves who ever lived in the United States. Estimates of the number of birth and slave imports are provided in 10-year increments between 1619 and 1860, and in 1-year increments between 1861 and 1865. The results highlight the importance of natural increase to the rapid growth of the U.S. slave population and indicate that approximately 10 million slaves lived in the United States, where they contributed 410 billion hours of labor. Damn, they know how many billions of hours of labor we contributed, but we still can't get no reparations. Okay. All right, that's interesting. Let me see. A concluding discussion highlights a few descriptive statistics historians might find useful, including the cumulative number of slaves who lived in the United States by decade and the proportion of slaves who were living at various moments in U.S. history, including shortly after the ratification of the Constitution in 1788 and at the start of the American Civil War in 1861. And you know what? Before we keep reading, I want to see who wrote this. Where's this coming from? Slaveryable, author manuscript, published, edited form 2020. We're gonna do a little bit of clicking around for a moment. Let's see. Okay, J. David Hecker. Abstract. This research note describes the growth of the slave population. That's basically the same thing we just read. Similar articles. They got some graphs here. Let's look at these graphs for a second. So this is by decade. This is supposed to be the rate of natural increase. So apparently the increase was down, and then it was up, then it was down, and then it was just gradually up and up and up, and then it plateaued a bit. Okay. Let's go back to the original article. In August 1619, the English privateer White Lion brought a cargo of 20 and odd Negroes captured from a Portuguese slave ship. And we're just going to speed read some things that really stick out to us. In 1790, the first census of the United States counted 697,000 slaves. 1860, it counted 3 million slaves. They say that the remarkable growth was the result of two factors: continued importation of new slaves from Africa and the Caribbean, and two, natural population growth, especially among American-born slaves, who lived longer lives and bore more children than African-born slaves. Although slave imports accounted for most of the population growth in the 17th century and continued to be a significant factor until the federal government abolished the legal importation of slaves in 1808, natural population growth was the more important of the two factors. Now, before we keep reading, something that immediately jumps out to me is, let me see, how would I type this down? Of a plantation slave. Because they're saying that there was, they're saying that, you know, there was such a huge natural population boom with these slaves, i.e., these slaves were having a lot of children, and those children were surviving to adulthood and having a lot more children. And the first question that comes to my mind is, what was the average life expectancy of a slave on a plantation? And it says here that there was high infant and childhood death rate. So I already kind of immediately sense a bit of a paradox. At the same time, they want us to believe that there was high infant and childhood death rates. We're also supposed to believe there was a catastrophically huge natural birth boom. Okay. It says the average life expectancy of a slave at birth was just 21 or 22 years. Damn. So it's not like the slave girl is living to her 50s and she's popping out, what, one kid every 9 months until she's 50. I mean, slaves are only living until they're 21 or 22
I mean,
years
but they're still old enough to bear children, though.
Don't interrupt me while we're doing the research on the source that you just presented. So again, I didn't realize until right now that slaves barely lived to 21 or 22. It says the white folks was just living to 40 or 43. So yeah, this is a hell of a slave boom. Not only was it supposed to be a natural birth boom, but they were having all these babies before they died at 21. All right. Let's keep reading. It says at the outbreak of the American Civil War in 1861, slaves in the United States comprised about 50% of the slaves living in the Western Hemisphere, despite the U.S. being the destination of less than 4% of the slaves. Oh, so even this article does cite that the official narrative is 4% of the slaves came here. And again, it's trying to rationalize why, hey, only 4% of the slaves came here, but there's supposed to be so many slaves living here in the Western Hemisphere, and we're supposed to believe this article when it says that these slaves was just having hella babies. You know, they was dying, they was dropping like flies. That back in the day, women was having 8, 9, 10 kids because, you know, half of them aren't even going to make it to their 3rd birthday, but we supposed to believe that the black folks was just having a population boom. Okay. Let me see what else it says here. In 2019, USA Today published an online graphic feature charting the growth of the slave population in the United States to commemorate the 400th anniversary of the arrival of the slaves in Virginia. Let me see. Although the number of slaves who lived in the United States is of obvious importance to our understanding of the institution's human cost and to the contribution of slave labor to the nation's growth and development, I was unable to find a published estimate and forced to construct my own. Oh. Ding, 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 ding. Guys, I don't know how profound, I don't know if you guys understand how profound that last statement was that I just read, but just take a moment and we're going to let it sink in. Just take a moment. It'll sink in, guys. It'll sink in. It says, although the number of slaves who lived in the U.S. is of importance, and guys, it's so obviously important that we should know the number of slaves who lived in the U.S. It's so important to our understanding of the institution's human cost and the contribution of slave labor on the nation's growth and development. But guess what? This person was unable to find a published estimate, and they were forced to construct their own.
Can I speak?
So you can in just a moment. So guys, in other words, what he's saying is nobody actually went around and kept track of those slaves back then. Nobody actually kept accurate census records of the slave demographics. So I've got to make up my own. And the way that I'm going to make up my own is I'm going to combine and harmonize published estimates of the size of the slave population, slave birth rates, and slave imports. And I'm going to supplement those estimates when necessary with new estimates and a few recent guesses. This motherfucker, whoa, y'all don't understand how profound. And so how profound and fundamental reading is, guys. Do you see why they didn't even want us to read? Because when you read it for yourself, you realize, wait, y'all said all this to say you don't know what the fuck you talking about and you guessing.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere. Friends It's in a book, a reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. A reading
All right. So his source has theories, has guesswork, and opinions. And we're supposed to take these theories, guesswork, and opinions as fact. All right, Dre. You now have the floor. Go ahead, Dre.
Am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. So my next question is, what was the life expectancy of Native Americans during?
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! You really want to just segue into your next question without acknowledging that when I did the receipts on the source you cited, we came to the conclusion that it's hearsay at best. You really want to just skip past that one? You don't want to acknowledge that your source was guessing up here?
Well, don't all sources guess at some point, make guesstimates?
Okay. Hey, it's cool.
How do they know it was 4%?
Hey, brother, if you don't want to acknowledge it, it's cool. What is your next question? Go ahead. Next question, guys.
So the next question is, what was the life
shit.
expectancy of Native Americans, since you say that we are tied to them in some way?
You know what? I don't have to lie to kick it. I have no idea. I have never looked up the life expectancy of Native Americans. So let me go ahead and look it up real quick. Let's all look it up. What was average life expectancy of Native Americans? Let's see. 76 year. Wait, no, this is probably talking about the average US population current day. Here we go. CDC. Let me see. CDC, Native Americans. It says 71 years, 78 years. I want to do some more fact checking because I feel like they may be talking about modern day natives. I would be surprised to hear that natives, even way back in the day, still lived to, 70, 80 years old. But let me see. This all seems to be pretty racist. How about I say, what was the average life expectancy of Native Americans in the 1700s or something? Let's see if that works. According the average life expectancy of Native Americans in the 1700s was 71. Yeah, no. So what we're seeing is just factually the average life expectancy of Native Americans. So while the average life expectancy of African slaves on the plantation was 21, 22 years old, we now see some information that says the average Native American lifespan was 71 years old. Do you have a third question, sir?
Okay, so my third question is there a difference between Native Americans intermarrying with Black people versus Black Indians?
I think you just answered your question.
Because I think there is a difference between intermarrying within Native American tribes versus calling yourself Black Indian.
Yeah, I think we all would say there's a difference there. Yeah, I don't see what point you're trying to make.
Well, where's this Native American claim coming from?
Well, let me see. Anybody who has Native American heritage it's not that they're claiming anything, they're just acknowledging that aspect of their heritage. I don't understand what you're talking about. Yes, a lot of the 4% of the Africans that came over here, they mixed in with the natives, they intermarried, they had children, they became members of the tribe. Then their descendants would have African lineage as well as Native American lineage. And then those ones who descend from Black Aboriginals that didn't intermix with Africans, well, that would be a more pure Black Native lineage, but I don't see what you're talking about. Everybody knows there's a difference.
Brown paper bag, brown paper bag, brown paper bag, brown paper bag.
I'm a European versus me being someone who had a black father and a white mother, then clearly I'm different from the other type of more pure European. I mean, that just seems like a juvenile question, but all right, go ahead. Yeah. I think he thought that was a gotcha moment too. Yeah. Do you have a fourth
My
question?
next question is, well, my next question is that, okay, knowing that Native Americans are genetically more tied to East Asians, how did you draw the conclusion that we're more tied to them, knowing that we don't have East Asian ancestry?
How did you come to the conclusion that Native Americans are tied to East Asian ancestry?
Genetic science that proves that they were African, or that they were black.
You said there's what kind of science?
Based on the genetics that were done, like as far as like matching up their DNA with other people from around the world, they figured out that East Asians have more in common with Native Americans that we know of today.
Okay, so the answer to your question is twofold. For one, and actually this brother did such a thorough job giving us so many receipts. Let me just go ahead and bring him back up as a source. And this video we just watched, it went through what the 3 different races of Native Americans are. So let's go ahead and start by going through those 3 different races, since I guess you must have missed that part. How many indigenous root races of human species are there? Oh, no, wait, this is human species. Let's get to the Native Americans specifically. How many indigenous, what race of Black Americans? What race of Negroes actually represent indigenous mean? Term Indian, Amerindian. No, it's not this one. I think it's the whole next page. Hold on, guys. Let's get to the next page. Here we go. So it says right here what the 3 different races of American Indians are. There were the Anusazi, aka the Amerindian, aka the Negro people, which are the original, oldest, and largest, with a population of over 500 million. And these were, the people in the north and southeastern area. They were the mound builders, the eastern woodland peoples. Then there was also the southwestern plains Indians, which were the first migrants. They migrated from Asia. So, when you say, hey, well, what about those Native Americans that have an Asian lineage? Well, out of 2 of the 3 races of Native Americans, 2 of them come from Asia. The Southwestern Plains ones were the first migrants from Asia, and then the Alaskan natives are a mix of the Asian and the Black natives. And furthermore, if your source is DNA, we've already proved, so many DNA scientists have even come out and said DNA cannot tell you your ethnicity.
Ethnicity, entertainment value only, entertainment value only, entertainment value only, entertainment value only.
William Gilliland is a biology professor at DePaul. He says DNA kits can be great for connecting family members and finding relatives, but the science for ethnicity testing isn't as concrete.
There's nothing that confident for ethnicity. There's no diagnostic nucleotide you can say this person.
There's no diagnostic nucleotide. There's no way for you to definitively say this person's from here, this person's from there. Don't believe me. Believe the scientist, the doctor.
Diagnostic nucleotide, you can say this person is from Europe, this person's from...
As concrete.
There's nothing that confident for ethnicity. There's no diagnostic nucleotide you can say this person is from Europe, this person's from Africa.
It's exciting to make discoveries like this, but if they're not true, it's heartbreaking.
So the Black woman did the DNA test. It said she was a Jewish woman. Let's see what the lizard's DNA says.
And so with the help of my wife, we extracted enough saliva to send off in the mail. We were so excited to see the results. After about 3 months, we were shocked. My lizard was 51% Ashkenazi Jewish. He was also 48% West Asian. This was really interesting. They also gave us a little bit of his background and his history, what he liked to eat, etc. Let us know which animal's DNA we should send in next.
Yeah, so again, to answer your question of, well, how do so many Native Americans have Asian DNA? Well, if I'm going to play devil's advocate and put on the tinfoil hat and say DNA can tell you your ethnicity, well, God damn it, we already know that there's many indigenous tribes that were some of the first immigrants from Asia. And we also know that DNA cannot tell you your ethnicity. So either way you slice it, there's the answer to your question. Do you have a fifth question, sir? Dre, are you still there? Did we lose you?
Wait a minute.
Are you there, Dre?
Oh, did you mute me? Yeah,
No,
I'm here.
actually, I was
So
trying to
knowing that
unmute
there
you.
are two.
Yeah. So I was asking if you have a fifth question.
Yeah, I do.
Your mic is
So
breaking up pretty
knowing
bad.
that there isn't. No, no, I think you're lying. Can you hear me?
No, I mean, everybody can hear your mic fading in and out. Guys, put a 1 in the chat if his mic sounds choppy.
Can you hear me?
No, that sounds better.
Okay. So knowing that the people that you claim were already here, like the Black indigenous people versus the African slaves that were brought over here, wouldn't those two groups have different justice claims as far as like the reparations argument in terms of what people are making?
Can you say that again?
So knowing that, the people that you claim were here before the transatlantic slave trade, like the people that, the Black indigenous people that you said were here, wouldn't that be a different group from the African slaves that were brought over here in terms of the reparations claim?
How would that be a different group if so many Black Native Americans were reclassified as Negro and other slaves and placed on plantations?
Well, because you said they were
So
already
hold
here.
on, Dre. It's like this, right? It's like this. Let's say Mike TV is an African slave on a plantation, and because of that, I should get reparations. And you know what? There was another slave alongside me, and he was misclassified as Negro. People thought he looked just like me and my African brothers and sisters, and his name was Dre, but he was Aboriginal. Well, you know what? Since Dre was on that same plantation working for free 99, Dre would still be entitled to reparations, right?
But different types of reparations.
Why, if you were a slave on a plantation, why do we need to discriminate on what reparations package you get on? I don't understand that. A slave is a slave.
But you said that there were already Black people here, so that you said they're indigenous, like they're Native American, right? Most Native Americans would sign peace treaties and they would do other things versus other people. So I'm thinking like,
I don't know what you're talking about now. Now it just kind of
Didn't they
seems like
sign peace treaties?
nonsensical rabble.
Didn't they sign peace treaties like the Native Americans that you claim to be a part of?
I don't know what you mean with this claim stuff. Who's claiming to? Who am I claiming to be a part of? I don't get it.
Well, you said you're a part of the Muskogee tribe, right? Or maybe got a membership.
Sir, I am a Native American. The government recognizes that designation. All my documents have that designation. Matter of fact, I just left the reservation where I got a discount at the dispensary because I showed my citizenship. So, goddamn it, if you're gonna continue to be on my stage getting so much free game from me, then you can stop with this whole tongue-in-cheek, oh, you claim this and you claim that. I mean, I've already got enough out of you that I need. We've already answered about 5 of your questions or so. So, guys, I'm gonna give you the luxury of choice as always. When I'm met with such continued disrespect, I like to give an ultimatum. And the ultimatum that I would think that I would give this man is he either needs to either refrain from referring to my Aboriginal lineage altogether, or when he references it, he needs to stop using the word claim and he needs to identify me appropriately. That's the ultimatum I want to give him, but I know if I give him that ultimatum, he's going to act like a chicken shit and he's going to flee the stage. So guys, here's what we do. Although I am a prideful man and I want to stand on business and give him that ultimatum, if somebody drops a 5 on the Cash App or the PayPal, I will refrain. I'll just hold my tongue. I'll let him rock out. We'll answer 5 more of his questions, and you guys can continue to be entertained by his ignorance. So go ahead and drop 5 if you would like to continue to be entertained by our resident court gesture. Or don't send a 5 if it's cool for me to just give him that ultimatum that we know he's not going to accept. And while we wait to see what the audience wants to do, let's go ahead and I think I feel like listening to a little tune. That's what I'm feeling like. We'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. The Roman Colosseum has spoken, and they say off with his head. So, sir, you're not worth $5 to my audience. So we're going to go ahead and give you an ultimatum. If you want this conversation to continue, albeit briefly, you're either going to refrain from my indigenous heritage altogether, or you're going to acknowledge it in the correct, respectable manner. What say you, sir? What say you?
I don't mind respecting it in a manner, but how do you want me to respect it in a manner?
Oh, you don't have to throw claim in front of it. Since we know it's not a claim, it's a reality.
Okay, so the people you come from, so I didn't use the word claim, so the people you come from, wouldn't they get a different...
Are you talking about my tribe?
So would
Do you
your tribe
maybe want
get
to
something
rephrase
different
that and
versus...
say my tribe? Okay, there you go. You're
Or wouldn't
learning.
your tribe get
What's
something
your question?
different than the people who descend from the African slaves that were brought over?
I don't understand your question. Not all
Like,
of
would
my
it be
tribal
too...
members were slaves. So what are you talking about?
I'm talking about, like, would they get different set-asides based on the fact that they were two different groups?
Would who get 2 different set-asides?
The people you come from.
All right, guys, I'm just gonna try to get to a conclusion with him because it's just I'm just losing brain cells talking to him at this point. Sir, it goes like this: if you were a slave in America, regardless of your ethnicity or heritage, you should be due reparations. Whether you are a European that descends from the 300,000 European slaves that came over, or whether you're an African and descend from the 300,000 African slaves that come over, or whether you're a Native Black American who was reclassified and placed on plantations, regardless of your ethnicity, your phenotype, or your DNA genetic makeup, if you can trace your lineage to a slave on an American plantation, then you should be owed reparations. It's that simple.
I didn't really ask that. I was just saying, would they have different types of? I didn't say they wouldn't deserve it. I'm just
You tell me,
would they
what
have
different types of reparations do you think people should receive, sir? You tell me.
I would say, like I was telling you before, Native Americans typically sign peace treaties with the United States. That was the typical agreement with them.
You're not giving an answer. Make it simple, give it fast, make it quick. You're pondering over whether certain slaves should get a different form of reparations. So tell me what the difference is. Should African slaves get 400,000 and Native slaves only get 200,000? What the fuck are you talking about? Plainly state what the difference in reparations package is that you're proposing.
I don't know the exact number on that, but what I'm
then
saying,
you don't know what you're talking about. And maybe what you should do, since between our last interaction and now, you did a little bit of research and tried to come a little bit harder than before, you still got swatted down like a fucking fly. I mean, you're still not a worthy opponent. But if you take a moment and if you do some more research and if you come back a little bit better, a little bit stronger, then maybe you can do good on your third try on Mike TV. But what you're gonna do right now is you're just gonna moan and groan like an effeminate little bitch. So tap dance for me. I like the way you dance, boy. I like the way you dance. So start dancing, y'all. Here he goes. He's about to start dancing in 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, dance for me, boy.
Yeah, bitch ass nigga, troll ass nigga, dick riding Tariq. That's all you talk about is Tariq.
To the left, to the left. To the left, to the left.
Have fun with your white girl, Featherman.
Left in the closet. That's my stuff. Yes, if I bought it, say, don't touch.
Hold on, guys. I'll turn the music down a little bit so we can hear him whine. Go ahead, sir. Cry. Cry for us.
I ain't crying over nothing, bro. I just feel like you're entertaining. I know you saying a bunch of bull. That's the reason.
Sir, you were just bitching about Tariq. Keep bitching about Tariq. It was a little entertaining. Go ahead.
You're a bitch. You bitch about Tariq. You got Tariq's dick in your mouth. Why are you so hell bent on Tariq, bro? There are so many other things to talk about besides Tariq. Like, come on, man.
Hey guys, peep game. He comes to a 2-hour-long broadcast that I'm doing about Native Black American history. He asks me questions, I give him answers. He gets triggered, and now he's bitching and moaning about Tariq Nasheed, telling me there's other things to talk about other than Tariq. We know, dumb nigga, we were talking about a whole different subject until you brought him up. But again, you're not worth my time. We do like to watch you crash out, though. Everybody loves a good train wreck. So I'm going to go ahead and cue up my dab rig, and you can go ahead and keep crying like an effeminate little bitch. Give us at least like 30, 45 more seconds of crying. Come on. Cry for us.
I ain't crying for your bitch ass, bro. I don't take this seriously, my dude. I see you just a big troll. You're a Tariq Nasheed troll that's trying to get traction off of Tariq's name. That's all you're trying to do. Like, I thought this was gonna be a good discourse. This is just nothing but bullshit, really. When people challenge you on this stuff, bro. That's all you do. That's all you do is just you say Tariq is a scammer, which I do agree with, but then, dude, you used to be a part of the cult, my guy. And then at the same time, truth be told, I think didn't you do something? Didn't you say something to a white boy in a suspicious way? You know, doing the little gay shit. with the white boy? Like you really want to go there, bro? I mean, for real. I mean, come on, man. I thought this was gonna be a good conversation. Like, why every time when somebody disagrees with you, you always try to cut them off? Come on, bro. I ain't crying. I don't have no tears in my eyes. I'm keeping it real. Why do you always do this? All you do is say anti-African shit every single day on your lives. All you do is downplay the fact that you're not no Aboriginal, whatever. Aboriginal, you probably what? Are you a Martian from Mars somewhere, or like, come on? Or do your people come from the Chronicles of Narnia? I mean, bro, if you want to wear feathers, go ahead and wear feathers. I'm not against you wearing feathers and moccasins, my guy. Like, come on, my dude. Like, it's hard to talk to you, bro. But I'm good. All right, I'm out of here.
All right. Well, that was interesting, guys. I told you, you know, he wasn't going to be worth my time. I told you I already know what he's all about. He's just up here to troll and be contrarian. And the only reason why we heard him is because you guys wanted to see it. It was entertaining, and I tend to give you what you want. He asked me very specific questions about Aboriginal history. I gave him very specific answers. And then he got triggered and babbled about Tariq Nasheed and white boys, and Tariq's a scammer, but still I'm tap dancing for him. I mean, it was just all over the place, guys. It was just all over the place. But